I've been making content for 6 months. In this time, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've definitely learned a lot of things. And I wanted to discuss the different things that I went through, things I could share that could help you out along your journey in your first year of creating content. It's not easy being a content creator, I can tell you that. I do think it's fulfilling, and I do think that there is a lot out there that artists are missing out on. I got that feeling like I wish I would have started 5 years ago. Do you guys ever get that feeling? The first thing that I learned is that consistency beats planning every single day. You think that you're planning for like, oh, maybe next year, I'm just getting all my things in order and all that kind of stuff is actually helping you, but it's not. What you should be doing is starting today. Make a little video or write that song. I've learned more by making a ton of really bad videos than I have from thinking about it for years. I've been an audio engineer for 16 years. I say it every single video. And I think about this all the time. But you can't beat experience. Put yourself in a position to earn that experience. I knew that experience was going to be a problem for me because I don't have a ton of time to just dedicate my whole life to making content. So I decided that I was going to make a video every single day for 90 days. And that was going to help teach me the engine that I needed to build to be able to make consistent content in my busy life. Listen, we all have busy lives. We all have issues and problems and things like that going on. And we still have to do this off to the side consistently enough for things to stack up, for that energy to build up into something. And the number one reason why I see artists fail is because they're not consistent. Maybe they'll put in a good 6 months and then they'll quit. Maybe they'll even start making some money. But then life gets in the way and they slow down. Their engine wasn't built solid enough in the first place to handle all those different situations. And then now they have to start over from scratch for years and years, going through this cycle of getting a little bit of a buzz, letting the buzz die down, getting a little bit of buzz, letting the buzz die down. I knew this going into this. If I was to ever be successful with this, that I have to build something that I'm able to be consistent with first. So I start by making things cheap and easy. I'm not putting a ton of effort into these videos, but I'm trying to learn something a little bit every single time to get better at. Talking to a camera was a big one, and I'm getting a little bit better at it, but you'll still see a million cuts in my videos because I'm not that consistent with it yet. But you have all these problems too. You have other problems maybe. Maybe you could talk on camera forever and don't have to worry about it, but you have other problems. So you need to build an engine to stay consistent so you can pick up those little bits of advice here and there and those little bits of tips and tricks and build something with. The next thing that I learned is that the algorithm doesn't know you. You have to train the algorithm. This is a really tough one to learn, even if you understand it right away, because how you create your content dictates where it pushes you to, and thus the kinds of reactions that you get, how you meet new fans. Back in the day, it was subscriber based. You would get subscribers and you would release content to your subscribers and they would eat it up, and you would be trying to gather more and more subscribers over time. But subscribers mean less than they ever have before. What matters now is that you're making content that can get the biggest reach and resonate with the most amount of people. And the way to do that is to train the algorithm to know where to show your content to. I had a video a couple days ago where I released it and YouTube got confused and was showing it to people that have nothing to do with music. I'm trying to give advice to musicians here, and they keep on throwing me to people that have nothing to do with music. So it kills the video instantly. As the algorithm is trying to learn who I am, I'm trying to learn who I am as well, so I could communicate that more clearly to the audience. So I could develop an audience that is actually interested in this kind of content. There's tons of musicians that don't care about personal growth or getting or watching content on this type of stuff. So I need to create content that is entertaining for a wide variety of people that also matches my niche. So when it comes to the algorithm, I'm confusing it some way, and I need to learn how to train it better. You may not know it, but you could be confusing your algorithm the whole time, especially if you're inconsistently posting. Okay, I'm in between sessions, so I can keep going. The next thing I learned was showing your face matters so much. You can't be behind the scenes. If you want to develop trust with your audience, you have to show your face. You can't rely on AI to come up with just cool visuals and things like that. People want to know who you are and what your story is. I'm still trying to get used to this, but this is the only way that I'm going to be able to push through and finally become comfortable on camera. If you were sitting here right next to me, we'd be able to have a full conversation, no problem. But for some reason, when I'm by myself and there's a camera on, I have a really hard time articulating my thoughts. But once I'm able to communicate better to everybody, I think that it will pay off in the long run. The world is increasingly more full of AI content, slop, and people need that genuine connection. Behind the scenes, it feels weird, but that's what it takes. Quantity versus quality. In the beginning, like I said, I'm all about quantity. I want to develop a system that allows me to create more content easier. The sacrifice that I had to make is the quality, obviously. I was making videos that I didn't think were up to the standard that I have. But I knew that if I tried to maintain a certain standard, I wouldn't get the volume of content out that I needed to, and I wouldn't put enough reps in. Of course, quality is really important, but you don't really know what quality is going into this. You may think you have an idea, but until you've made a ton of videos, you have no idea. You need to know what it feels like to make content, to then make micro adjustments to tidy up the things that matter the most. Some things in the beginning you might think matter a lot, but 6 months later, I don't think about those things at all, and now I'm thinking about these other things. If you're new to this and not really sure what to do, don't spend 1,000,000 hours on one video. Figure out a way that you could set up a system that makes videos easier. Lower your quality bar for a little bit just to get some time working in these videos. And then you'll decide after that which parts of your content absolutely need higher quality, and then you adjust those little tiny things. After you get a feel of doing this for a while, you can then say, maybe I'm out of time, I can't produce this much content and up the quality at the same time, so I'm going to have to reduce the content just by a little bit, so that way I could raise the quality just enough that I need to. If you're looking on a sliding scale of quality versus quantity, you're going to notice that you don't want all of one or the other. You want a balance, and you don't know what that balance is, and it's different for everybody too, so my balance might be different from yours. So I have to figure out what my balance point is. I opted in for quantity over quality just because I knew that, just like with this, like I've recorded 1 billion songs. When you record 1 billion songs, you learn so many little tiny different things versus, oh, I need to get my first mix perfect. It's impossible to get your first mix perfect. Your first song is going to have a lot of problems, and you got to be okay with that. If it comes down to making songs and you're brand new, develop a system where you can make more songs easier and allow yourself just enough time to learn something new every single time. About 10 years ago, me and the Undercast Studios crew created a series called Undercast Sessions, where and they're still up on YouTube, by the way, where one of us engineers made a beat, and then we invited 3 or more different artists to come in and write and make a song, and then we made a video of it that had little bits of interviews, little bits of performance stuff, and we just wanted to make an episode out of each song. We were incredibly busy, and we still added on all this extra work, but we wanted it to be good. We get obsessive about quality here. I was new to cameras 10 years ago, and I got fully immersed in that world. We ended up spending at least 40 hours per video, and we were coming out consistently 1 video every 2 weeks. We made 30-something episodes until we burnt out. When I burnt out, I didn't want to pick up video for a long time. Every time I thought about picking up a camera, it would stress me out. And here's the kicker. Looking back on those videos, there were so many problems with those videos, quality-wise. We tried to do a lot of quantity with the highest quality that we were possibly able to make. And that was a problem. It broke us. So my advice is to keep the quality level moderate or low and just work on your rhythm of releases. Build it up over time. Oh, this is a fun one. This one I've struggled with forever. Learning how to teach has been a huge obstacle course for me because you could be an expert at something, but if you can't communicate that, how are you going to help people grow? When I'm here and trying to train engineers, I have to truly understand where they're coming from to be able to communicate with them effectively. The same can go for you and your art. You may know your art so well, it may seem so simple for somebody else to just check out real quick and grasp the feeling, but they may not. Your communication might be blurry. You might need to work on your consistency between your photos, videos, music, and your overall communication. Even how you talk to fans can be a big deal. I've learned so much this year, and I want to share what I'm learning as I'm learning it, so that way I can help as many artists as possible. It's the end of the year. Looking back, I've learned so much. Making content for 6 months straight has taught me so much. I can only theorize so much about how this should go or what works and what doesn't work, but until you actually try it, you have no idea. I'm really curious, what have you guys learned this year that you didn't know previously? What are some big lessons that you've learned and would love to share? I read every comment. I try to reply to everything. I want to see who's watching this. Let me know in the comments. Don't be shy. Come on. In 2026, I want to continue staying heavy on content and developing, getting better, of course. I want to get monetized this year. I also want to collab with some artists in our Studio C and try being an artist again, because I'm in here all the time making music, but it's always for somebody else. I need to make my own music and work with people on that level as well. I appreciate everybody. Have a great rest of the year. Merry Christmas, New Year's, everything.